evening, everyone. The mayor is away for this meeting, so about me, you're stuck with me. So, Bob, will you review that's in the pledge of allegiance, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stacy?
Caught me off guard when I roll out.
Oh, sorry.
And I marked everyone here. Jane Hagan,
Here.
Mike Benton,
Here.
Lynn Chiata,
Here.
Vicki Hummel,
Here.
Randy Hummel.
Here.
Paul Charles.
Present.
I have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a motion to approve the minutes of the town council meeting 12th of July.
So moved.
Give me a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
And a motion to approve the minutes of the work session for August 2nd.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any scheduled appointments? Oh, you are here. I didn't see you there. You have the public safety report?
Good evening. In July, had 148 calls for service. It's equal to 148 calls from June. And if you wanted to play a three-digit lotto, it was 148 calls in July of 17 also. I had to go back and check those numbers because they, the lineup, it's kind of weird. 66 calls were self-initiated, 82 were received by other means. Of those calls, we handled 2 CS violations. One was a arrest for distribution of Suboxone. One was cocaine. There's 2 thefts. I have 2, there's 3 listed on there. 3 thefts then. One was quoted as some cash from residence. One was a stolen vehicle that was recovered up in, let's say, Baltimore area. And one was a bike disregard. Civil violation for marijuana, 1 trespass arrest, 1 disorderly, and 1 non-fatal hair
Was the cash, was that by someone they knew, or was
Yes.
that? Yes.
If it wasn't by someone that they knew, it would be listed as a burglary. Usually, if it's someone they know, like that was in their residence that took it, I'd be listed as a theft.
Got it. Okay, that's helpful. No.
Yeah.
Was the vehicle unlocked, I assume?
It was unlocked, and they said there were no keys in it, but I don't know the circumstances how it was recovered. Nowadays, it's not many people, because of the built-in chips and all that, power ignitions, the car, so it's usually just keys or something.
I had a conversation with Lieutenant Alm today about the overdoses and deaths, so forth. I don't know if I spoke to you about that.
Yes.
I'm still trying to get my computer pulled up, so I don't know the exact numbers. Does he?
We have had no fatal overdoses
Right.
in North Beach.
In North Beach, and then only,
Six non-fatal in the town.
and then how many in the county? 86?
I believe it's 86 in the county, what he told me earlier, yes.
So it's like 7.5%.
Yeah, we had a conversation with, I had been able to watch me Monday night. There was the press between the 2 beaches, there was like almost 30 overdoses, but that's the mailing address.
So it's up to 4. Man,
Yeah, so between North Beach, I mean, you go up and also, I'm thinking it's just the county that doesn't include the area, but then also Chesapeake Beach is huge as far as the mailing address.
County acres down,
Yeah.
down Ranch Cliff, anybody.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
Chesapeake Beach actually goes to Breezy Point,
That's right.
halfway down Tobacco Road. So
Was that the biggest zip code, or what was the biggest area?
the biggest zip code in the county,
Where the
Oh.
overdoses were, was.
I'd have to look at the list. I don't have that in front of me. We do get a mailing, an email, and I guess if you all want the email forwarded to you, guy in the county that does the mapping and everything.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate having that.
Yeah.
because-
I can forward that to you all.
And the reason why I bring it up, I had a long conversation with a young lady from Huntingtown today, this morning, about 9 o'clock, and she said, we were just talking about the county overall, and she said, well, North Beach is where all the ODs are. And obviously, I'm a little biased about North Beach, it kind of upset me a little bit, because first of all, it's not the truth.
Exactly.
And we get the report, and again, one OD overdose is too many, absolutely. But I just wanted to make sure people know the facts, and it's not that we're pounding our chest that we had 6, because that's way too many anyway. But overall, I mean, we're a very darn safe town.
It varied, and there's been some initiatives, I think the Suboxone distribution was an initiative that was done. Suboxone is related to heroin, and so it's all related, and that was the initiative that was done with the narcotics unit, that's what it's listed on here, and we're doing some others also. It's on our radar, we're dealing with it. Some people, I don't know if we've had any this last year, I know we had, if you look at the list, there are multiple, the same person's on there multiple times. That last month, I know Chesapeake Beach had a non-fatal and a fatal, and it was the same guy. At the beginning of the month, he OD'd, he got, someone got him on time in Narcan, and then the month he did. So it looks like a lot of numbers, but it's the same people over and over, yes, too.
It's not unique.
Yeah,
overdoses necessarily.
exactly. So it's not, I don't know the way to put this is, if there's, 85, how many of those are reported? Was it really 85 people or 85? 85 incidences, but not 85 people.
It's too bad that those numbers are just numbers and not separated out, by usually the vendors.
Well,
Because it makes the numbers-
you can look at the list, I mean, there's a whole list of them, it's public, I'll forward it to, and I'll just,
And the reason why I bring that up, because the group that has been started with the Twin Beaches and with the overdoses and, so forth, I think they're making inroads. They were at the Neighborhood Watch, the night out, National Night Out the other night. And I think there's inroads being made, especially with the training in Narcan and so forth. And I think that information, we got to do a better job getting that out. That, we're not just sitting back letting things happen, things are moving. The second thing is that I think it appears to me, based off the farmer's market, that letter that Lieutenant Alton put out had really helped.
we have not had since that letter went out, and we've also increased we originally at the beginning of the season had 2 part-timers, and then the boardwalk part-time came in at 7. And then we increased, and if there was a guy on the road, then hang out around farmer's market, I got a call. When that letter went out, we actually added the bike patrol and 3 overtime spots. And we haven't had a problem since then. We plan on doing that for the rest of the summer.
The word is going out.
The word's getting out. I think the kids, we've been running them out of the park over here, and that's where they wanted to congregate, and, or they, get to the boardwalk, and then, we haven't even heard the social media presence where they've been talking about doing it. I think they realize it's not the place to do it, and, we've kind of calmed it down, and next year, I guess we'll reevaluate how to go about staffing a farmer's market.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know last week, we talked about after you and started talking about that, where we were talking about speed signs that just light up with your speed. And I know we wanted to talk to you and your guys' thoughts on that, and possibly find out if we could get a rotation from the counties, little speed trailer that they move around.
Yes, I know there's a very long list for that, and just if you give me some locations where you're interested in having it, I can contact the person and see where we are. So I know it's down to Breezy Point last weekend or weekend before, but it's there.
We were talking about heading out of town on Bay towards, and I know you guys did some of the.
I did a speed
study,
study.
I know.
Just-
We see it, I don't.
Yeah, it's, I think it got posted now. I think we put a couple more speed limits on it, if I remember correctly. And I can do another study there, but I don't think the study showed that there was and that was a stealth device, nobody knew it was there really, so, but I can put it up there again.
Were you wanting to look at visual ones that they
We were
did?
looking at ones for that, like.
Yeah, I know you're talking about, yep.
And and then it will gather data,
Yeah.
which we could easily hand over.
Yeah.
So you guys, it's like, hey, between 8 AM and 9 AM.
Yeah. Yep.
But the price tag is large.
Yeah, I think the stealth one was 3,000.
Well, and a question that we had, just sort of the psychology of people, you know, when they see how fast they're going, one of the questions, because we don't own, that's a state highway, so we talked about speed bumps and
Yeah.
different things. If we placed one, we talked about placing one at the intersection of 9th, you know, where Junior's house used to be.
Mhm.
If we had one there before people go out, is, you know, from your professional opinion, would people see that but then just speed after that? You know, 'cause sometimes they slow
Yeah.
down when they see how fast they're going. But would they just speed up right past that? We sort of wanted to know your opinion about that in terms of placement,
Probably.
effectiveness. Yeah.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
It's a straightaway, they're leaving.
Like the mayor having put a camera there. You go up to the camera.
We were also looking at one somewhere here along Chesapeake Avenue as well.
It's a straightaway leaving there,
Yeah.
and same with Chesapeake Avenue, it's just, they come in from, you know, the transfer of that, you know, in between Chesapeake and it's kind of like they're speeding, but it's how they control it, I think, you know, I think the curves have helped a little bit.
On Chesapeake.
On
That
Chesapeake,
bay.
but,
I mean,
yeah, Bay leaving, I just,
And just one last thing, I see Lynn sitting there. If you guys could, you know, there's some worries that people are turning onto First Street off of Chesapeake. So they're, you know, crossing Neptune's and then just,
East.
yeah, going east, are flooring in at that point, or they're increasing their speed, they're going towards the water.
okay.
If you could just have somebody just keep an eye on that too when you get a chance. I know y'all have done it throughout the town, but just,
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that to the list.
So they're turning off of Chesapeake, heading towards Bay.
Yep. And there's just,
Gunning it?
yeah,
That will, okay.
yeah. It's a short distance, but there's people that cross there, there's a lot of walkways there,
Okay.
so we just want to be careful, that's all. Sometimes that's a forgotten area right
Yeah.
there.
Well, there's a 20-mile speed sign.
Right.
Which is totally neglected. I think it says 20 miles an hour, and then it says, slow children at play.
So we just need to,
Are you the children that play?
yeah, we definitely need to address that.
Yes,
Anybody else? Thank you.
thank you.
Joanne?
Treasurer's report for June 1st through June 30th. The beginning balance was $429,000, total debits was $486,000, and total credits was $338,000. Ending balance in the checking was $577,000. MLGIP general fund was $2,963,000. Sewer capital was $34,000, and water capital was $7,000. Total cash available to the town for the month of June was $3,583,000. There were no state business license revenue during the month of June for this month, or last month. Hotel tax, we collected $915.16. For the same period last year, there was $3,827,000 available to the town in total, and we received hotel tax revenue of $192.27. As part of my treasurer's report, once we take a council votes on my report, I'd like to go over the well house and meter replacement.
Any further questions for Joanne? May I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
In 1 second, it was full. So everyone received my memo on the strategy for the well house and the meter replacements. And what I'd like to do is just briefly go through, because you have the memo, which reflects what's in the PowerPoint. Okay? So what I'd like to do is just briefly go through this item, just for benefit. Okay, well house replacement. The condition of the existing well house is in a flood zone, flood area, and the proposal is to increase the height of the structure to get it above flood level, number one. Number two is to increase the security of the building. I think there's some issues with the doors and rusting and things like that. I didn't provide pictures, but that can be done if you so wish. Raise all the electrical and monitoring equipment above flood level, and then install a bypass for maintenance and repairs of the water tower. That's for the well house. The meter replacement plan, which is part of this proposal, is projected out over the next 4 years. The implementation of the plan does not involve incurring any additional debt. Go to the next page, I'm sorry. It'd be helpful if I had an assistant. Okay. Doesn't involve any additional debt. The goal is the replacement of all manual read meters with new radio read meters. You know, we've been slowly doing that as we progress the last few years. Let me turn the page. Okay, our goal and objective is to replace the well house with a new flood-safe structure, replace the zero read meters as soon as possible, replace all 770 meters over the next 4 years, and not incur any new debt in the utility funds, and to self-fund the well house and meter replacement projects. Okay, what brings us to this situation is we had applied for MDE funding through water quality. We had the opportunity to apply for grant and loan opportunities at a discounted interest rate. We did not rank high enough on the program to get grant funding. We were included in the draft of projects submitted, but we did not meet the final. We were knocked off in the final round. So we didn't achieve the funding that we had allocated the debt service for in our FY19 budget. So that brings us to this situation here. So with that said, the well house floods on a regular basis. We all understand that there's equipment there and the chemical storage and adequate security that's needed to maintain. We also understand that there's 279 meters that exist that read zero. So they're not getting usage, but they're getting a minimum bill. So at least we're getting that. So that's the priority. Okay, that gets us to today's situation. Let me turn the page. Okay, meters that are in the ground currently, they're 26 years old. They usually last, what, an average of 20 years, Ryan?
Roughly, yeah.
20 years. Replacements occurred only on an as-needed basis and for new construction. There was no real plan for replace. Okay? New technology and radio read meters have helped accentuate the need and benefit of the replacement. We've explained that before when we went to the radio reads. And then lastly, I provided some options for you. Option one would be the least desirable and would involve a bond and creation of new debt and the utility funds. Option two would be to self-fund the well house and meter replacement projects with the MLGIP reserve fund. In addition, the budget would include the $67,000 for ongoing capital improvements for this utility fund over the next 4 years. Okay? Now that we've gone through the slideshow, let me go over the memo. Okay, in the memo, we identified that you currently have $67,000 in your water fund budget. You had allocated new debt in anticipation of the MDE funding, and you had also have $18,000 in capital monies. What I propose is the $67,000 that's there, utilize that monies. In addition, $105,000 from the MLGIP reserve. That would allow us to complete the well house and to purchase enough meters for the 279 that are reading zero currently. Those are the immediate needs. Then I would propose further in the memo that the $67,000 that you have budgeted in FY19 is budgeted every year for the next 3-year cycle at a minimum to replace the additional 400 and some meters that we need to replace. That would be the plan in effect. And I guess what I'm asking you is, I know that we don't have the ordinance before you with the budget adjustment, but the need is great. We proposed this back in February to MDE. We've been kind of waiting. So if I could get a consensus of the council that you would do a budget adjustment in these amounts to allow for this project to go forward, or these projects to go forward, that's what we would like to do.
And this replaces the 279 that are currently reading.
The 279 meters that are currently reading zero would be replaced with radio read meters.
This year.
Yes.
That makes sense, Joanne. I mean, we have to do it. We wanted to use other people's money, but we didn't get it, so.
Yeah, and it also levels off your, it goes hand in hand with your conservation plan as you're slowly reducing and bringing that forward. It also kind of works with that, and you're not creating new debt, so the people and the customers kind of get a steady bill that they don't have this fluctuation in, so you know what you're going to be paying.
We couldn't move forward on a new plan unless we did this, because we're flat feeing 279 people, and our goal is to reward people for less usage. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
How's everybody else?
One question, I wonder if we got that grant for DK, I wonder if that means possibly for the well house or parking elements?
that are specifically written for your project to deal with that land acquisition. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yeah, I think there was another, there might be something there.
But on that notice, could we go after a similar type of grant next year to see if we got funding for the additional ones? I mean, this could be our plan, and then if we got some
You
grant funds.
could, maybe under community legacy with infrastructure,
Yeah.
but on your priority list of things that you want to achieve with lighting, that's not it. But you have a source of funding already, and usually with utility bills, they want you to be self-sufficient. And just like any utility, we have to run that way. So I would not propose a grant unless MDE was to go ahead and do that, but we've tried that route. So this is my only way of doing it without borrowing money.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt Joanne, but for the remaining years, MDE hasn't come out every year with talking around, just looking at everything. We try for years, because
Yeah.
the new grant comes out.
Yeah, so if there is
Water
something-
quality, we can apply for that.
I'm more than willing to try. I don't think the likelihood's there.
Right, I wouldn't count on
But
that.
if it
Right,
comes,
so
then
we
we
have
can
it.
take
If it came,
Yeah.
but in the meantime, we've got to have a plan.
Yeah. That would just be a bonus. if
Yeah.
something-
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like bonuses. Okay, I think we all should.
So we get, does Chair, can you get a consensus of the?
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it?
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. That was good.
I just remember Russell Hall
You don't have to replace those damn things one day.
Well, the day has come. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everybody. I don't see the highlights here. Number one on the list was pretty much the highlight of the month. Everybody knows that we were here, we had between 11 and 15 inches of rainfall, depending on which rain gauge you looked at. But with the regular rainfall, Public Works spent a lot of time on cleanup. I'm not going to go into every little detail, but we did. The streets flooded in normal places, pump stations had to be monitored, stormwater stations had to be monitored. Along with that comes cleaning of all the pumps, you had to recheck everything, look, and so it turned into a pretty long process. We had a couple sewer clogs because of all the flood. Then when you get that heavy rain, that washes down through the sewers, gets everything laying up on the manhole shelves, brings that all down the pipeline. That causes line clogs, pump clogs, and everything else. We spent a great deal of time dealing with that. We'd like to say we got the flood sign fixed Friday before we had all the rain, and it actually worked the whole time. The drivers didn't pay attention too much to it.
I was gonna say,
That part of it worked.
we're saying in
Yeah,
a
I
flash.
think Randy was there, we had a barricade out, had blood time class, and everything going on, we still had a BMW driver around, they thought they could make it, and, got stuck right now.
Wasn't me.
Yeah,
It was me, but it wasn't.
I honestly didn't think it was
So work
that.
it out.
No, he started a rumor. It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't, believe me, but, they did come on, they alerted everybody, that's probably the most rain on a Sunday at one time I've seen since I've been around, I guess. It's Sunday afternoon, that came going down. Second thing, we, removed 60 feet of old storm drain pipe. We got a couple days in there where it didn't rain. We pulled out, we had some pipe on Frederick Avenue that just was put in and it went nowhere. So we, had water going in one end, but it didn't have nowhere to go to, so eventually it rusted out, caused a problem, caused a sinkhole. And, that was in the location of Councilman Benton's old house. Kind of waited until he moved out, so we think it's one of your favorites. We got that out, we backfilled, and we will pay that. Our paving contractor, he came in town, he said some paving work, but he said it was like the rain and issues with all the rain, so he's fine. I'm not sure what jobs he has. Third thing there, the paving contractor, like I said, did make it in town, he's got a few more potholes to correct, a couple large ones actually to fix, but they did put the speed bump up in San Francisco while they were here last time, so that's in place. I guess we heard all positive comments you've heard.
I think there was one negative comment, and that was because the lady couldn't get home from the beach and had to wait 20 minutes until they were done.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's what they got, so this time.
we do need to mark it, I
Yeah,
think.
we marked it today.
Oh, did you mark it?
DPW, we told you last month, we went around and did a smoke test on all the sewers in town, and we came up with a list of about 50+ issues on there. We've been addressing them. We probably corrected 30 of the issues. Some of them were chip pipe, some of them were cleaning out caps, just missing small items. We had two major ones that we stuck the camera, but with all the rain and all the debris and everything else, we needed to catch a dry period where we can actually camera those. One was at 5th and Bay, and one was at 9th in Annapolis. That's where we had smoke coming out of the storm drain pipe. So we need to get that thing pretty clean and do a good check to see why that's happened. But the rest of them were fairly minor items. That's how we corrected every half of them.
Did you smoke test up in San Francisco because two?
Yeah, we did everywhere.
Okay, because they were telling me there's quite a few caps missing up there.
Yeah, that's what a lot of them are on, but that's actually where caps, they're cleaning out caps up work and this kind of hold them. So, I'm working with Paul, and he can better tell you this report, but we're working on the agreement we've been talking about with Calvert County to get that to a fair cost and a fair percentage. We do have the count at Windy Hill School. I talked with a gentleman that works for the water department. He's promised me a place now to get the actual water meter readings from the building department, from the county, so we can get a photo. I did do all the population count thing. He's working on using those numbers to plug in to make sure we go like St. Hill that very comprehensive report with it. We're getting close, and these are real close, I think, to have that agreement right up to this end. We attended a meeting up there at State Highway about raising 261. Everything on that's pretty much on schedule. Pretty good meeting, everybody, they have a good list. Actually, they pointed out last week of their deadlines and their dates and everything. They're pretty much on schedule so far. That was on the 25th up in Annapolis. And then on the 4th, they came down here and actually looked for property for mitigation. We still having a problem finding enough mitigation property for the area they were disturbing, the shoulders of the roof, pretty much is what it is. I don't know if it's public knowledge yet, so they do have one thing that they're planning, but I'll wait to see if the state goes through that. Then, a couple ideas. One's the same point that is public knowledge, but they don't know if they can use it. They have some ideas on maybe fragmented control of the marsh. We have one major one, but it's not public knowledge yet. We started, hoping the council would agree tonight to what you just said, which I was talking about the well house. The only unknown I have in there right now is PG&E, and they'll have to run new service or change the location of the existing service to the well house. It won't be an upgrade, it'll be the same amp service, but we have to move up the old well house and put them new. With them, only going to cost money, so that's kind of an unknown cost. But it did start some preliminary stuff today, and I'm going to send their application up to get that done, so we can get one of their engineers to come down and look at it and try to give us a cost first on scope of work, like design.
Donnie, I hate to even bring this up, but,
Bring it up.
heard that environmental concerns was coming soon to finish the planting and to grade that.
We did hear that.
Yeah, it's been crickets.
Right.
I mean, what?
I
What's the deal
still
with
don't
that?
have an email that I talked to you about from Gene, stating he was gonna give us a status update and all the stuff, and that was due, I think, at the end of May, and they were gonna be here and be completed by June.
Yeah, they said,
And that
right.
hadn't happened yet. I've reached out to him several times, the same answer, but I will do it again tomorrow. And he used the last, I guess you would call it, he did give some updates, I need that, you have something for it.
I don't care about an update, I just want
Yeah,
them to
we'll
come out
send
and
something,
finish it.
right,
I
and
mean,
he used it as well, it's gonna get hot and dry, it's the summertime now, and nothing will grow, so that was his last.
Because he still
Well,
has
then when they
some
come, when they
He
said
missed
they
May
were
when it was too
coming.
rain, right?
Right, and when
Right.
they're coming soon, they would have been done in May and we had plenty of rain,
Right,
but,
perfect, right.
so,
Right.
can you
Yeah.
share what, I mean, this is ridiculous that it's doing.
Yeah.
Two things real quick. I know that Isaac is the king of the water meters, and he knows where everyone is for the whole town. The other day I was talking to Mark when Isaac was out,
Right.
and he was like, man, Isaac knows where every location is, and he was struggling to find them.
Right.
But this new meter system, I know you're gonna be putting new meters in,
Right.
but that's gonna help locate them easier, find them, or or how does it work?
You don't even have to walk over, right now we have to walk over top the meter, and it's not, Mark's, been here for a while, and, took him out a little bit to show you, and he's catching on pretty good. And from now on, I'm sending with Isaac, so he can pick it up, we got a couple people, know where all they're at, so that's part of it. But then with these meters, now you have to touch the top of the meter, actually have a line to touch it. But with the radio reads, you can walk down the street, right, it'll start bouncing off and then come to your handheld device. You don't even have to touch the meter to see it, which is kind of good and bad, because I like the part they have to touch the shit, down carbon, look at the top and see what kind of shape they're in. But we can read them and probably, it takes Isaac like a good 10 hours probably to read them now. You should be able to read all the meters in an hour and a half. You know, by just walking through and everything. So, like if I'm standing here, we'll pick up Third Street Crossman, apartments, that's when, as soon as you walk out the door, it'll start pinging you and turn on. And it'll show you, meter read, address, meter read, and it'll come up, device error if it's a problem, so you can check it out. And it'll give you like a list of problem, non-res, or whatever, so it's a pretty nice system. And you can get to the point where you can do it from town hall.
I was
You
gonna
have to
say,
buy-
you even have to, seems like you'd be able to just.
You got, it's a lot of equipment, and right now, being so small, I don't see worth the money, because if we do it an hour and a half,
Right.
it's not a big deal. We had a big area where, it would take us 2 or 3 days, it might be worth, because I think it's, for the, vehicle equipment, it's $25,000 just for the thing that has to go in the truck and stand on the truck.
Hour and a half is.
Yeah, once it gets them out, like say they find, like sometimes they find a top of the road. We had a top that, like y'all called it, from the farmer's market a couple weeks ago, Cox on the meter, we ended up, if they come out and read them, they can find that, instead of somebody actually stepped and knocked the lid off. But it's kind of good for them to go, at least walk around and check on that kind of stuff.
I think that's what the storm, or the smoke test did for us too, because we had the pleasure of being out there.
Right.
But the other part is the stormwater. One thing I noticed in this rain is the back section of the town. I know we always talk about Bay and Chesapeake and all that, but the back section is being murdered by stormwater issues from Carroll County.
That's a big issue. Everything's going on down.
They've done, it's just, Lord knows what goes by Mickey's house right there. But the point is that we do need to make some note to make a, we have a lot of towns that's having stormwater issues from Carroll County that we need to address. So
Probably
just
like, as soon as it all falls out, something like that.
we need to walk it because it's,
Right.
I have a video of some places, pretty impressive.
It's got somewhat better since I put that leak up there, but we had so much rain that
That was the problem with that 5 inches and then Sunday, like I said, Saturday. It rained all day and it was pretty steady and it was a lot of rain. It was 5 or 6 inches, 5 inches on Saturday, but then Sunday night, then we came in Sunday morning, cleaned up, and then Sunday looked like we never finished. We came out 3 inches in about, 30 minutes, it seemed like.
Thank you.
A couple of quick things. One first, great job picking up with that. I was very impressed. Like 24 hours later, it wasn't even happening, so you guys did a great job picking that up. For the potholes, is First and Dayton still on there?
That's a big one, I was talking about the news week.
That's all over there.
Yeah, the day they did the speed bump in San Francisco, it actually rained. They were gonna plan on getting everything that day because they were here and they wanted to finish. But it started pouring down rain that day, like about 4:35, so they had to leave. And they had like this, and now, like the place we did on Pepper Dam, I want to get one and get that. There are like 2 or 3 other ones sensitive we did, but that is on the list.
Okay, yes, I'm sure it's on.
They worked from 11th towards First Street, and then they did one across the near, but they were coming up to do that in Mexico, pulled down right to the.
One other thing I was noticing, on the boardwalk, as you're walking down the boardwalk towards the Cold Penguins, we've got kind of that area where it's a sharp right turn and it goes around the houses and stuff. The left-hand side of that is like a staircase. And it's kind of strange, and I noticed it because I've got a stroller with a kid now, right? If you stroller down, and all of a sudden you want to go over to the businesses, and there's stairs. There's not actually a stroller down. Now that's annoying for a stroller. If I'm thinking of a wheelchair or something, that's really annoying, something like that.
There used to be a ramp.
Well, is there a history behind that?
Yeah,
Well, and it wasn't
Perhaps
that.
elsewhere.
My problem line wasn't that, I don't want to say too bad really, but ADA compliant with the ramp we got there, there was nowhere near being ADA compliant. So that's why I went to stairs. And as you notice, if you walk on the boardwalk, it's supposed to be 1 inch per foot of drop. So we didn't have enough fall to make it out to where it should be, before it got to the bike path. That's why we had to put 2 steps there, because it was fall, and we had to go 8 feet to make the ramp ADA compliant.
What you see in the boardwalk?
Yeah, you have to go, 1 inch per foot to be ADA compliant, so that's one reason why, we kind of like, the ramp was okay, but it's snowed or whatever, something like that, we're kind of, that whole street was kind of high, there was kind of, some areas are not really what they should be.
Okay. This is kind of a rough cut area.
Yeah, but I mean, and see the bike paths are right there, so we couldn't, once we got out there, would be sticking up and forth that couple inches, because it's slow bump. Because it, like Nick said, it was a ramp there, but it wasn't. When they redid that
It's a ramp
area.
a little bit further down.
You've got to turn around and go back.
Yeah, you gotta have it back, what, almost.
I mean, it's still possible.
Oh, the pier, yeah.
Yeah, you go back to the buttons and all that.
Yeah, it's enough. That's a ramp.
Yeah, just the
On
other side.
Yeah, that's on the other side.
Just the other side of the stairway. The hatch driveway, I think,
He doesn't know hatch.
the huge 3-story houses, there's a driveway in there, several houses that have a driveway.
Yeah, but it's nowhere to get to that. You cross the step to get down on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
Oh,
But there's a
yeah,
ramp,
you
like
might
the welcome
have.
center.
Yeah.
Down at the welcome.
Yeah.
That's not going down.
You have to go back to
It's
the
not
welcome
full.
center.
Yeah, it's not full.
But that's why that was kind of great, because we did some work in there. We repaved the bike path today, and we had to try to straighten out some of that stone drain stuff and everything else. So while we were doing that, we kind of corrected that because it was, we had both ways, no people slipping and fall, wasn't really. So we kind of, while we were doing that, we went and corrected it.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for Ron? Thank you, Don.
Say you should be lucky you don't have the landslides to deal with. We have you clean up in 24 hours. Wow. Good evening. Go a little bit on Donnie's report, obviously we overlap a little bit on some things. State Highway, I'm working with the mayor on a resolution to try to push the state along with boardwalk. I don't know if you've seen that, but I know I had emailed that before, the boardwalk plan to make sure that they're not forgetting us and including in the boardwalk, especially access to the sidewalk, and have a sidewalk to tie in right up from Mexico, right where it ends, right up from your house. And, make sure that it ties into the bridge. We say bridge, it's small, but the crossing of the creek up further toward Anne Arundel County. So that is coming your way. And the utilities, make sure they put the utilities on the ground. When we first started, it was no, and the meeting I had earlier in the summer, I said, well, in Chesapeake Beach, we had this same issue, and we said we paid for the pipe, you guys just put it in the ground, and they said, wow, that might work. So one way or the other, we have to make sure we get that included in this project. It'd be a shame to not do that for sure. The well building we talked about with Donnie, that absolutely, glad you passed that. That building is in bad shape. Definitely needs the maintenance. Donnie and I worked on a storm drain maintenance plan for the MS for a permit, something I met with Councilman Benton on as well. I did have the pleasure to see his old house and neighbors with the pipe that failed, and the drainage that comes down the back is unbelievable. I mean, I just walked in the backyard and it's like all the neighbors came at once, save us from this. But the amount of rain we've had too doesn't help, obviously. The sewer issue, as Donnie said, we've had everything except the Windy Hill. And they just have been difficult to get information. We finally got it. I put the letter together. I have everything ready to go. We'll get that out this month. Unbelievable. Then we'll work on the stormwater.
Yeah.
One at a time. The library, we did get an MOU from them, a draft. And I pulled together my comments along with the property descriptions back to the mayor, so he can take it from there. And then I'll help Don and Eugene. I don't know what's
Great.
anything else?
A couple of things,
Sure.
for you, Paul. First of all, and thank you to both of you. I know I had requested, looking at Atlantic Avenue,
Yep.
there was that piece,
Right.
it seemed like
Yeah.
a low-hanging fruit item that we could
Yep.
fix, and I've heard awesome comments back from, especially with the rain.
Great.
Yeah, that's working wonderfully, so thank you for that, just getting on it.
No problem.
People were so appreciative. That was huge.
Never flooded up there, so that was.
What's that?
So I forgot to mention that, not to pick it, but it
Yeah.
never flooded with the rain Saturday, the Atlantic Avenue.
It would have,
Never did flood.
right? If you guys hadn't fixed it.
Right.
Yeah, so that's huge, so, on behalf of them, thank you for that. And a couple things, last week, Paul, we talked about, the whole, speeding issue,
Right.
going out of town on Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be one of the things, we were talking about the speed humps, and you were mentioning that, Donnie, that now that we're raising the road, that may be the time to have those incorporated. Should that be something that's put in that document, is for them to consider?
I don't know if the state would do that. They wouldn't, I don't think they would do speed humps. I mean, if we wanted to talk to them about traffic calming, like.
That's what, I mean, traffic
Speed
calming.
humps, I don't think they'll do.
Yeah, I use that interchangeably, but,
I didn't
yeah.
tell Paul, I mean, I don't know if you, but I didn't tell Paul about that, but I checked into it, and actually the state thought they were a very good idea, but they're taking them back out now because they didn't think they were, I mean, they didn't work out as good as they thought. People were more about that or not, but they tried a couple here and there, whatever, then they wind up taking some out there, that's the one, that friendship up here.
Or maybe just,
But some kind of traffic.
I mean, I don't mind asking them.
or maybe it's not that, maybe it's, but just some
Well,
kind
maybe one
of
could be
solution.
incorporated with some into town, and not the whole stretch, because I mean, you're right over the whole.
Right.
At that point. I mean, that's-
It's just they speed in front of those houses, it'll be better because we'll have, if we get that sidewalk, people will walk. I mean, right now, people almost get run over, or walking or jogging. But maybe just as part of the dialogue, it seems like the time to, whether it's signage or whatever.
Yeah, certainly, I'll reach out.
I think, I'm not hearing it. I think Chesapeake still has a speed, speed board. Yeah, take all over the place. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't run it to you guys if you wanted to.
Well, they say it's a state road, that's why we can't just,
No, but not to get weight chairs used, but I think they have one you can borrow and use pretty quickly if you need it. Just a thought.
Instead of buying that one, we're talking about.
Right, right.
Or they're gonna use
if you put it down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, you have that thing of looking at incorporating things, so it just seems like it'd be a good time to.
No problem. I'll add that to the list.
And then can you just, two other quick things, can you just remind us, why is the boardwalk on the, it's on the east side, is what you're proposing, right? Versus the west?
All the utilities, all the utilities are on
Okay,
that.
that's why.
Right. I doubt it, but the pump,
Oh, they go
the
underground.
sewer line is on the west from Hamilton
Okay.
County, and all the overhead lines, and they're no problem on that side.
When you said why, okay, I remember Randy, we were talking about, I think, at one point, it was like, why was it on that side? Okay, that's fine, that makes
Like
sense.
the mitigation zone too.
It is less, plus you have an unobstructed view of the
Right,
park and the bay.
Yeah.
You're saying you're not looking over cars flying by you.
right.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's fine,
A lot
I
of
just was
reasons.
curious, yeah. And then the last thing, do we have any progress on the design for the talk, I
a
know we might talk.
concept. I mean, really, the next stage is, I think, we gotta find some money. I'm gonna come out of pocket for that.
One good thing too, is all, I told them, you know, with that, all that rain, Ninth Street, that was flooded until Monday, on the tide, and the waves started crashing, and so they can step up, but the rain, so I don't, I mean, we can definitely put that discharge above.
The good thing is I know, I feel pretty good that it works for the local water. It's the bay I can't fight. So it's helped me a little bit to understand that I think we got cover behind us. I just gotta figure out how to fund the money to get it in front of us.
Right.
Because right now, it's all we're doing is pumping against the bay and burning up pumps. I mean, you know, it's just.
But you guys are
No,
continuing to
right.
look at it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Code enforcement,
Not feeling well.
oh, but you have, we all have this report.
You can email me if you have any questions.
For the month of July and the beginning of August, worked quite a bit with the Sharp Jack, monitoring the inventory and sales and reordering and restocking merchandise. We're working on an online store right now, so hopefully within, I don't know, a week or two, we'll have that going. And there will be more options than what's in the actual store, not online. Coordinated, attended, and photographed the ice cream tour on July 13th. That was very well attended. So I'll see you out there with the ice cream. Created advertisements to promote the town weddings and events. Circulated information regarding the swim advisory we had because of all the rain. Monitored social media posts and responded to lots of negative and misinformed posts. That takes a lot of time to do that. A lot of biting my tongue, but we'll get it done. Created and printed posters for upcoming movies and concerts. Wrote and distributed the press release for the new wheelchair for the beach, and lots of people are excited about that, and it's been utilized as well. Helped Veronica with her healthy living program flyers and sent out email blasts and social media posts on that to get the word out on the workshop and information on that. Created flyers to promote the Farmers Market Customer Appreciation Night, and that will be August 24th. That's where we do free raffle. You just sign up that night for them. That night you put your name in a hat and you win. Hopefully we'll have 2 baskets. Sometimes we do 2 with items donated from the farmers and all the vendors there. So that's August 24th. I think we do the drawing about 8 o'clock that night. Let's see. Attended the National Night Out along with some of you guys. We did shut it down a little early because of thunder and lightning. And then my daily task is there. You see we have 313 text subscribers now, 9,745 Facebook followers, 1,200 Twitter followers, and over 1,500 on Instagram. I did add, I hope you guys got my report, I forgot again, sorry, to put the sales for the Church Act in there, my report. For July, the net sales were 2,408, and we sold 208 items. And through yesterday, no, today, what is today, tonight? Anyway, this month we've $864 and sold 64 items.
What's the hottest item?
Well, everybody goes for the sunglasses and the shirts. We have a new design on the back of the shirts. It's got the ending on the front left chest and then the design on the back. And people are really liking it. And everybody still loves those coffee mugs too.
Hats, okay.
Yeah, hats and visors. I'm always restocking those. So hats, visors, t-shirts, and the mugs and sunglasses.
Koozies are big for a while, I think that's dropped off.
Yeah,
So you think it's successful?
I do.
Jay, just a quick question, is that gross or net?
Those are net sales.
Net sales?
Hello.
Since the last report, along with the day-to-day beach activities, the waterfront staff were involved with preparation and set up for markets, yoga event on the pier, concert on the pavilion, movie on the beach, a wedding in Sunrise Gardens, July beach cleanup. That took us about 2 days and 30 hours, and National Night Out. Our revenue is looking pretty smart here, I think. Last year, 14 weeks at this same time period, 245,000, and for this year, 12 weeks, 242,000, so we're slightly down 2,500. All of that considering we had the 2-week delay in opening, and we still are at 17 rain days, if you count the July surprise, with May, as well as last year. So 8, 9, 17 this year, 17 last year, but I think the revenue looks pretty good. It's, we're renting a lot, it's hot, so renting a lot of umbrellas. That may be a part of that. Our guest counts, visitor count slightly down, our resident count is slightly up, which is nice to see. And the total there is almost pretty even. The zip code report, with the decrease in the counts, the family counts are a little bit lower for Prince George's County, Washington DC, Montgomery County, and Calvert. But I'm surprised Virginia and other areas not listed is up quite a bit. And for Maryland, other areas not listed is also quite a bit. And those are family counts.
Because of people staying overnight, do you think, as like on vacation? I guess we don't have that detail, but
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting.
We don't have any detail with that. I mean, I can start listing counties and municipalities, but that gives you quite a report.
A lot of data to keep track of.
My sense from people who just being down there during some of the heavy admission times is dangerous. And once in a while, you have somebody come in and they will say, we're staying this weekend, and we're here this weekend. I'm going to probably tell you 98% of the folks get through there.
Do we know where, because we're getting more vacation rentals, we're getting more VRBOs, we're getting, what's that?
Yeah.
Well, we have more, we track more today than we ever have. My question is that, do we know where, like, with marketing, I know Dawn does an amazing job, our website's getting a lot of hits, social media's getting hits, we have text, all this going on. Where are the people hearing about us more? What do y'all hear down there?
Well, other than just taking the zip code reports, we don't really ask them how they hear about us. That's probably something, we've talked about coming up with a program to figure out how to do that.
The only reason why I ask is because, looking at the numbers, to me, we were shut down 31 days because we had a 2-week delay.
Right.
So really, it's 31 versus 17, and it's only off by $2,500.
Yeah.
So the numbers are up, and it is definitely, I heard a rollover of umbrellas, but it would be nice to know, continue to improve on our marketing, or, where are these people hearing about us?
Sure.
Where's the best bang for our buck when it comes? I think the branding, to me, is what the Shirt Shack's all about. They're taking that t-shirt hat, they're going back someplace, somebody says, where did you go? Oh, I found this cool little town, X, Y,
Yeah.
just wondered.
Yeah, that's something we should probably look into doing. Also, a big chunk of that came from the July 4th. Remember that, 24,000, so that was a big kick for us.
I can share with you on the overnight accommodations. It seems like the majority, from what I'm understanding from different vacation rental owners, a lot of the people who are coming to Harrington for weddings, and they're staying in North Beach, but they're coming down for the weddings.
Correct.
Yeah, and some of the people, I mean, they run out of room at Harrington, and they're over, so they even have lists of some of the homes, like preferred homes that they give their people because they can't accommodate everybody. So I know that's a huge piece of it.
The one beside me has people involved in fishing tournaments, which I think is
Not surprised by that, yeah.
So, so there's a mix of weddings and some of them, you get to know these people because they're gone, they want to know their names. some of them are weddings, and some of them are just on vacation. You know, each place that's near me,
Yeah,
you know, we come up.
exactly.
You know, I know that the HGTV, the other night about the vacation rental Chesapeake Beach, where 90% of was filmed over here.
Yeah, I watched that too.
You know, I think the, Boardwalk Walking Center, the pier, the fishing,
It was all us.
it was all us. It was pretty funny.
I want to watch it, yeah, I didn't see
Yeah, it
it.
was funny. It was funny to watch because they had to check
And it's a vacation.
Richard, I just have one question, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer. I'm going to ask it anyway, just because there was that horrible accident in Ocean City when the umbrella went flying, stabbed somebody. And your people put those in, right?
We do, we install the umbrellas for them, and then, when there, just for the record, when there are strong winds, if they caught 11, 12 miles an hour, I won't rent umbrellas.
Okay.
We just cut them off at that point for safety purposes.
Right. I was sure I knew the answer, but I needed to ask.
And we install it, and we watch the wind direction, and we make those calls. We haven't had an accident, thank God. That's
Yeah.
a horrible thing.
That was awful.
Yeah.
Veronica.
Good evening. Our most recent award, the Healthy Living Program, Dawn helped me out a lot this month, working on flyers and applications. And now the applications are up and people are applying. We have about 5 or 6 applications in queue now, and getting the energy audits scheduled. The information is on the website for people interested, and the second page will show you the information in a few minutes. Callis Park, we're working on the grant information, and we'll be moving forward with that in September, sometime in September for phase 2, which is the empty section in the park, which will have additional equipment on it with that award. This month, I applied for a park ranger application that would pay up to $50,000 towards the salary of a new park ranger for the town. One thing I forgot to put this down is I attended the economic development meeting in July, and we just did some brainstorming, talking about things that the economic development committee could do. We talked about funding, we talked about improving businesses and business facade money, and even talking about maybe the two towns come together and form a community development corporation. Again, all ideas and just brainstorming ideas that we generated. But I think it was well received, and we just talked about how we could collaborate and do things better and stronger if the two towns came together, or if the town just wanted to do a bunch of different activities to strengthen the small businesses here. So currently what's pending is over $1 million with the park ranger grant that was just completed. We're waiting on word from State Highway. I talked to them last week. They said recommendations should come in soon, and announcements will be made in October. The other elevated walkway lighting the bay is from the state of Maryland, and they're presently working on recommendations to the Secretary of Housing and Community Development. On the next page is the information on the Healthy Living Program. Up on the screen for people in the audience who might be interested in applying. Again, this is the income guideline. Please, please, please tell a friend, because I'm sure somebody needs a furnace or maybe some Energy Star appliances, and especially with the cold weather. It'll be here before we know it, even though it's hot, hot, hot right now. But somebody probably needs a furnace or some air sealing and weatherization in their home. And this is all free funding, and it's first come, first served, so when the money is gone, then
hold on.
We'll probably cap it, excuse me, we'll probably cap it to about 6,000 to 7,000 per household.
That's a new oil furnace. The 6,000 or 7,000 is a new oil furnace.
Yeah, I actually applied for 250,000. So they gave us just a small
10%.
chunk, just to see, since this is a brand new program, probably to see if there's a need. And the program is for the entire county. So anybody that is eligible in the entire county.
For just this 25,000?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
What's the deadline?
Okay.
There's no deadline, the money is gone, we started waiting.
There's a flyer if you're interested, anybody wants to pick up one, they're downstairs.
Yeah, and when you first come in, the flyers are downstairs and the applications are downstairs.
Someone can have this one.
I think I have a couple copies too.
It's not like having a waiting list isn't a bad thing. For us to demonstrate need, what we want on that list,
Yeah.
the better, so for future funding as well.
Thank you.
I just want to thank Monica, because you did an amazing job presenting to the EDC, and everybody was so grateful. Just to know, just to get the education about the monies that you've brought into the town already, and the things that you're looking at potentially, just for everyone to know, just what a wonderful resource you are for North Beach. So appreciate you, especially at night. And you live in Baltimore, and to spend your evening with us down here.
And you
Appreciate
came to
it.
the environmental meeting.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I have a real quick question about the Callis Park, so actually more for Richard. For that expansion that we're doing, are we expanding towards the fence, or are we expanding towards the actual, what's it called, building? Building. You know how many feet we're doing that?
20, about 20 feet, which is about 20 feet from that point to the building. So it's not all the space.
The reason I asked is I was over there the other night, and there was probably about 25 kids or so using that area as basically a football field. If we approach into that, there's not a whole lot
Yeah, we're not consuming the whole space.
floating around, so maybe we can just keep that in mind as we do that. Maybe the more space we can do there, probably the better. Because it's really not a whole lot of field-like areas.
The original plan was 30 feet to the building, so we brought it back to 20, which is about 25 feet from the building. So.
Thank you. Other comment? Go ahead, I saw your hand first.
Linda, 40 West First Street. I just hope that you all have had a chance to read my email concerning the speed pump bumps for Brooklyn, and I hope you'll give it consideration. And at the end of First Street in the Little Park, if people that aren't speeding down the street get a chance to see that really nice art piece that went in, and in the park, is that part of the art in the park type thing, or at Sharon's Way?
Yes, it's literally at the end of the board.
It was donated to the town. Okay. It looks really nice.
It's
It
Jim
helps
Rupert's
people
son.
slow down.
Ed Rupert.
Yeah, Ed Rupert donated that.
I can say a few words about that. I'm getting ready, I'm working on a little blurb about it. I got with Ed yesterday or today, he sent me another message. It was actually Ed and his sister-in-law Jeannie Rupert. He said that was very important. They both worked on it. It was at Amory Gardens for 5 years, over 5 years or so.
Yeah.
It's got a name and all that. It will have a little sculpture marker soon, and so.
It makes a
Yeah.
nice entrance to the town.
Yes.
Karen and Brent,
Yes.
on the boardwalk, Hunter,
I'm Ron Armstrong, on Atlantic.
Okay.
down here, we're here. It's 4 weeks ago I stood here, and I asked if you would please give me consideration to keep on the boardwalk at Nowhere Park, except the very small designated area that's reserved for boardwalk parking.
We have no place behind the house, the town took away the alley. We can't ride down the boardwalk, we need a place to park. Now, 4 weeks ago, I was told by everyone here and the code enforcement, oh, this is gonna be taken care of, this is gonna be taken care of. Well, I think you were trying to shut me up, or you didn't take me seriously, but we are serious about this. And I want to give you an example of what it's been like. Friday night, if we leave after 3 o'clock, we leave our homes and move our cars, come back about 7 o'clock. There is not one space on the boardwalk, on 7th, nothing on Atlantic, nothing on 9th, nothing on Annapolis, nothing in the Mexico parking lot, and all the way up 7th, not one parking space. What do we do? What do we do? So I personally went around the block a few more times, finally somebody moved on Atlantic in front of a house, and they had gone out with a cone. I said, oh, too bad, so I went and moved the cone apart. Somebody came out of a different house and started screaming at me, like this, screaming at me. And I said, I live here, I don't park. You know, other neighbors have gotten notes on their cars. You can't park here, this belongs to 9210 Atlantic Avenue, this is our space, you can't park here. We don't want to park there, we want to park in our spaces. So I want to know if you guys are going to be willing to implement something. Now, we have suggestions. We do want signs, we absolutely need signs. Not that says resident parking only, boardwalk resident parking only. Because other residents in town will park there and say, hey, resident parking, okay? The other thing that we'd like to do, we'd like to see the wooden things that you do block off the streets during the farmers market. We want one of those starting tomorrow that says boardwalk resident parking only.
Where do you want it?
Right? I can continue to say 7th and on day.
If that would go there, though, other people couldn't drive around there.
I'd be willing to get up and move it. Go down there.
I just have one question for you. I understand your frustration, but when you finally parked your car and you went back home, what did you do?
I went back home and bitched to everybody I saw.
That's the point I'm trying to make. The deputies stood there and told you to call them.
No
And they would
deputy
come
was
in
here when I
and tell
presented,
them.
Jane, no deputy was here when I presented. Number
But
two,
that's
what
what
if
you
you
were
get
told,
out
I
of
like
the car
that.
on 7th?
But that's what you need to do.
No, it doesn't work.
If you can't,
It
I
doesn't
understand
work.
what you're saying, and we want to help you out, we really do. But we can't be there every night to make sure every.
I didn't ask you.
I know that.
We have
What I'm
a
saying
sign,
is
it's in 4
you
weeks,
need
why
to
don't
call
we
the
sign?
deputy when it happens.
I can call the deputy if he's not worried about the kids that are fighting or whatever. They're gonna come down and worry about cars, they're not gonna do it. I still don't have a place to park. I understand what you're saying, it should work, it doesn't work. So I'm asking you to implement something that will work for us.
The houses that were down there originally when we made that, they were doing special tags to correspond to the green
Right.
zone. You all still have the tags?
Yeah.
Sure.
People park in those.
That's fine, I'm trying to start from zero.
From zero,
There's
yeah.
a complete disregard to that.
That's fine, I understand that, I'm just trying to start on, so you still have the tags. I know on the opposite side, not against Ms. Lodge's house, because those light poles there were replaced.
Mhm.
None of the signs transferred back over. I know on the opposite side of the street, the signs are still there.
Yeah,
One side is there out of 3,
Out of three, okay.
But have
because
you
the
looked at the
posts were
signs?
changed.
You can barely see
It
it right around
says
them.
special
Excuse me,
permit
can
parking.
I just stop you real quick?
Yeah.
The mayor and Rick have already talked about the signs ordinance, part one order.
Great.
That's good.
So we're,
Okay, that's good.
we're working on
Okay, that's good.
And
But we need something, we
that.
need something.
That's why I need to stop
Well,
you.
we need
before-
something
Right.
that will be
That's
good.
But Gina, you said, we talked about this earlier, I think it was Tuesday. You're encouraging us as residents, if somebody is parked in that, the green zone,
It doesn't belong there.
pick up the phone and call the sheriff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stacy had also a good suggestion. She had another suggestion, because they're tagged, they get the hang tag, why don't we just spray on the street, each one of the spots and the address that can correspond with that tag?
Sure.
Because what we found in the past too, and I don't know if you remember this, Ms. Anchorbrand, but some residents would park, who lived on the boardwalk, and I don't even know if this individual was still there, might have been a tenant, would park 2 cars there instead. But if we had an assigned spot, that might be helpful.
Each house
More
has.
personalized.
Like,
What's your address, Miss Anchorman? 9131 would be sprayed in that spot.
And
It's
that's your
reserved
spot.
for that spot.
But we've also heard that the police are here in force on the weekend farmers market and whatnot. Can we add to them the bicycle,
That's correct.
have people go around and
Yes,
just make
yes.
a point to check 7th Street, see if there are unpermitted parkers?
But at the same time, you have to make sure you put your tags in there because they won't know
Right.
if you're in there and they're not, you don't have your tag hanging out.
How many cars are we talking about? How many,
You got
how many
10
spaces?
10 spaces.
10 spaces, there's 10 houses and they have 10 spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of our houses are Airbnb, and the Airbnb may have 3 or 4 families with 3 or 4 cars.
But you don't have, each house only has one space.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, but nothing's enforced.
But I think it's a good idea, Joanne, if you have the numbers, people are less likely to park in a space that has an actual address. It's sort of like when you go somewhere and it says, you know, the president of whatever, you're less likely to actually take that particular spot. And-
We'll
and with
work
the
out the
sign.
layout, and then we'll try to work with code enforcement on, it's a little difficult, we only have 2 people.
Yeah.
Problem is, when they're going home, it's in the evening, so I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's after hours.
Friday, Saturday, you might see a restaurant or farmer's market or an event.
So we could talk to Ronnie and see what they could do. Like if she was to call and say, I'm at this reserved spot, someone's in my spot, they could run a tag or something.
Right.
That's what we need to talk to officers.
But I still would have no way to.
Well, they'll get them to move it.
There are no spaces. There literally are no spaces because everybody at the farmer's market, wherever, is parking in every single available space.
I think
Right,
we could
No,
try
no, what
this
I do is
strategy.
I just won't leave my house after 3 o'clock.
But you
shouldn't have to do that.
You should be able to call an officer, if that space has your address on it, you've got your green tag, you could call an officer, it's a non-emergency number, tell them you're having an issue, they should be able to go there, and I'm speaking for Ronnie, so I don't know. We have to confirm this with Ronnie. They should at least be able to look at the tag and find out who's parking there.
Now, is it just a problem on Friday nights because parking is a
Saturday, Sunday.
parking is a
Yeah, we
problem
got people
everywhere?
walking down the
on Friday.
boardwalk with their umbrellas and beach towels because they park in our spots. And it really is a problem. And as far as getting an address, well, we're not gonna get an address Friday, tomorrow night. I want something done tomorrow. That's why I want those wooden things, those barriers. I want something done.
Well, we just can't block the road off with those wooden barricades. That's, first, that's a fire and safety hazard for the fire department.
Well, the fire department's coming, but you don't have to block it off completely anyway. You can leave room for a car to go around it. I mean, the way you do it on Friday nights for other streets, you can do it.
Well, we do that because it's blocked off, because we have vendors in the street, and we send out those notices. That's why we do that, because we have people sitting in vendor spaces up in the street. We just are, I'm speaking for the council that we're just not going to block off the street.
I don't know that we can do that. I don't know.
We can.
Can you block it partially? Can you put something that says resident, boardwalk resident parking only, like for half of it?
They can't block the street off without, at a minimum, an ordinance and a public hearing. And that's not on their agenda tonight, so it's certainly not going to happen.
I don't want to cause any legal difficulties, but I do need to park. I have a very high tax bill. I need to be able to park the car.
I guess what we should do then tomorrow night, as far as pull in there and park, is we'll just keep calling the sheriff. And just continue to call the sheriff.
Will somebody instruct the sheriff to respond?
We'll ask them, we can't instruct.
Well,
Yes.
We'll ask them to
That's
cooperate.
On Tuesday night, at the, what's it called, the strikeout, or what's it called?
Yeah.
Night out. I spoke to 2 officers, and they said, sure, you call us. It is listed, this is reserved parking. We will come and we will take it. The other question became though, he said, is it a towing zone? And I said, yeah, it is listed as a towing zone. But I know a couple people I've talked to here said that that is a place that we really don't want to go.
It's fake, it's a
And
fake sign.
Randy's got, he probably has some background on that.
The sheriff can tow them.
The sheriff can,
we have difficulty because we don't have a contract with a tow company. But Calvert County has a contract, and if they initiate it, a sheriff initiates it, they can tow.
Okay.
We cannot.
We've had cars parked for like several days in our spots. Like this week, we had for about 5 days, 2 junk cars parked in our spots. Didn't know who they belonged to, we just sit there.
Well, in any time something like that occurs,
Yeah, you should
speaking
always
out of
call.
church, always call.
Always call.
Then we could take action, but if we're not aware and you're just monitoring,
Like I
it's
said,
not
if you go home and
gonna
look
work.
at it and talk to your neighbors and don't tell us, we can't help you.
Well, I did tell you, 4 weeks ago.
Well, it sounds like a lot's been
We
done.
thought we had it handled.
But, I mean, it's in the works, it sounds like the signage.
And that's good, that's good, but we still have a problem.
So Joanne, you're suggesting that during work hours, if it happens, we can contact
If you
you?
see an issue, well, you can contact town hall.
Okay,
Someone will
contact.
find somebody to help you deal with the issue. That's always the case.
And if it's after hours, then we go to the sheriff.
Exactly.
Right. And I think that the new sign, and we'll find out for sure, should maybe have tow authority on it. But we'll work that out, yeah. And that'll be between the mayor and the
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Abigail.
Hello,
Hello.
how are you? Good evening. So, first, I don't have so many free nights throughout the year to come here and to thank you all. So when I have a night that I'm not teaching, that is tonight, and it was a coincidence that is the meeting, I just come to thank you. Now, everybody for the town for the wonderful job that you've been doing for us. And I'm going to go really fast here. About the park, the Carlos Park, every year my school with the Spirit Society of North Beach, we like to do a fundraiser to help disabled children or adults. We've been very successful in the last few years, and we'd like to see for us next year to donate one other equipment for the Carlos Park, but I would like to be for the disabled. At this present moment, we have just 2 toys, I'm going to say that, for disabled. So I know you're planning to do something, but I'm here to say you can count with my school and the Spirit Society of North Beach for us to help you all to incorporate one more thing for the disabled children for the park. And it is 2 more things. I always try to be in a positive note when I come to you all, or when I come to visit the friends at the town hall. A few weeks ago, I didn't feel good in our town when I was walking to our farmer's market. I felt that I want to leave. I didn't feel that I want to stay in my own town. But don't take me, please, in a negative way. I see a lot of people drunk on that day on the street. I saw for more than 30 minutes, and I was stopped, and I spot 5 police officers in a spot. And I know, because we received the letters, and I know why you had a more police officer here on that night. But why 5 on the same location to intimidate people? I don't know. If they were here to help not to be so much vandalism, more teenagers fighting, they not to be more spread out, maybe 2 here, 2 there, to be able to see. It's just a suggestion. I'm artistic, I felt very uncomfortable. Not against to the food trucks that come to sell food, but I would like to leave my suggestion on our table. Maybe not the day of farmers market, because farmers market for me is farmer market. And I think it's going to be nice to have the trucks on a Saturday and a Sunday when we have a lot of people on the beach that just want to buy a hamburger or a hot dog. But I didn't feel home that day. 2 times I didn't feel home. I just want to leave that for you all, that if it's something maybe,
We talked about that with the deputies last week and last month, and they are going to scatter people at third and fifth and seventh to take care of that situation. We've had several complaints about that, but I think it's, the last farmer's market I was at, it was much better, and you missed the deputy's report, but he said it's much better now.
And also with the drinking, we talked about, you know, having a perimeter where they wouldn't go outside of with alcohol. So they're going to pay more attention. Exactly, pay more attention to that.
Yes, and please know, I'm not here to be in a negative note, I'm here in a positive note. I'm here for 32 years. My business is one of the survivors in town, and we're growing every year. And on that note, I want to let you know that we are growing, and we're going to do a beautiful show in December in collaboration. Now I'm incorporating other schools. We're going to have the Palms from Northern High School, Sherry Dance Center, and we're going to have a big orchestra with 60 instruments. So it is good to know that our town, we are doing this. And on that note, I'm going to leave something for you all here. Maybe I leave it to Nick if you pass around it for me later, Nicky. And I mean, just here really to thank you all. You know, I know Donnie there. Sometimes I go there, bother him. Richard, I bother him all the time. And this year I didn't ask any money for Christmas lights. You know, see, I forgot because I had a surgery. I will continue until you want me to do the Christmas lights, but next year I'm going to come back to you all and it's going to do something. But that's what I want to say. Thank you, and I have a meeting and I'm already late. I'm going to, not to be rude, but I have to go back. And thank you again, and I come back maybe before Christmas to thank or give you one suggestion. Yes, ma'am.
May I just take the time since Abigail's here and thank her for the donation the Spiritus Society did for the handicap wheelchair. We've had 2 people use it, and we've had 2 phone calls asking for more information about it. So,
good. I'm so glad. And let's do next year now something for the children. And my goal for the park is to do something where they can go in a wheelchair. You know, I always have things that I travel and I look and I show Richard and they go like this when I show them things. But we can make it happen. Please, you know, I'm here to help. And I appreciate it. You know, have a lovely evening.
Good to see you,
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Peter Davis, First Street. Not being facetious, but there must be a form of literacy test that visitors can take in order to enter the geographical parameters of North Beach. The sidewalk, the crosswalks are not working. You literally have to step halfway into the crosswalk, halfway across the street in order to get anybody's attention. And it's just at all locations. We talked earlier about the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit on First Street. Nobody obeys that. For some reason, whether it's historical or biological or who knows, when they come from the south on Chesapeake or they come from the north on Chesapeake and turn on the First Street, they speed up 30 miles an hour, and then they have to come to an abrupt slowdown when they get to the intersection of Bay. I'm not running for anything, I'm not running from anything, but it is a quality of life issue, Karen and Hilliard and everything. And these are important to us. We pay good money for taxes so that we can live here and support the lifestyle that you want for our local visitors. On a happier note, I don't think I can say enough. I'm a member of the Boardwalk Facebook group. I don't know how I got on it, but there were a lot of negative comments about the water after the storm. And my thinking is, and we've been here, we'll be here 12 years in a week or two. The cleanup was nothing short of miracle work. And a big shout out and round of applause goes to that effort. And I disagree with anybody that says anything to the contrary. But on the literacy note, we're seeing, First Street is a one-way street. There is a sign that says one-way. We used to get maybe one wrong-way vehicle a year during the summer on First Street. We're getting 5 a week now, for some reason. They just can't read the damn sign.
Are they coming out of C streets?
They're coming out of Bay, they're coming out of C. It can't be mistaken, it's intentional, it's deliberate. There was almost an accident at first in Chesapeake 2 weeks ago, last Sunday. Something's gonna happen, and it's just because people, whether they can't read, or they do read and they deliberately want to do the things they want to do to get out of town.
Peter, was it like consistent, like the same time every day or the same car?
No,
It was just raining?
but we are getting, on those lines, Nikki, there's a dynamic going on First Street, and I've talked to the sheriffs about it. People will come in, we're at 4110, then there's the old Bajoko's house, and then there's the meat house. People are coming and they're parking right in our side walkway area, not the sidewalk area, but the side walkway area right in front of it. And they're staying there for 5 or 10 minutes, all hours of the day and night, and they're texting or something. And Lynn did some checking, and the feedback she got was that people were playing Pokemon or something. It's not that. I've approached those vehicles, and as soon as I approach those vehicles, they look in my direction, and they drive away. They're setting up a meeting with somebody on Bay Avenue to do something that's illicit or illegal. So, I mean, you see something, you report something, and we've seen that repeatedly in the reporting. So, whether it's literacy, whether it's an intentional violation or not, it is affecting our quality of life throughout the town. And it's not just First Street, it's Atlantic, and it's other parts as well. But again, somebody mentioned it, the Sharon's Way is a really nice touch. One day it was just Sharon's Way, it was overgrown hedges and bushes and whatnot that Michael Parrish used to maintain. But now it's a nice art emporium, and it's nice to see it, and we applaud you for that as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, Earl McDaniel from Chestnut Avenue. To address what the gentleman said, well, I've been noticing that during the weekend, people want to go the wrong way so they can park their cars to see the water. And I've actually sat there and not moved when they want to go the wrong way, I'll sit there and block them. But that's what's going on. And it's happened quite a bit. And another thing I've noticed that on the weekends, you really can't go anywhere in the car practically. What's with the rickshaws and the Segways? That's slowing traffic down also. I don't know anything about that, so what's the deal on that? People on rickshaws and Segways going through the traffic. I mean, this isn't Key West, Florida. Is that going to be permanent or something?
They're a vendor here for the summer, on the weekends.
Okay, so is that going to be every summer, do you think, or?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I have a question. I'm going to live Fifth Street. I wasn't here for a couple of previous meetings, so the speed bumps that you're talking about or whatever, is that something the town is thinking about implementing on that section there or throughout the town? Because like the gentleman was saying, I live on Fifth Street and walking my dog down Fifth Street and getting across that crosswalk is super mega dangerous. I mean, we spent all the money on the crosswalk and you can't even get through it because everyone's flying through you when you're standing there and trying to cross. So I would love to have one, if y'all can get one, or one in front of the TANS building, I would appreciate it.
Stop sign. Because I live on.
Or a four-way stop sign, we can do that.
Well, I know you just had another accident there.
What's that?
We just had another accident right there.
I know, yesterday, somebody hit the.
That's the most, we have more accidents there than anywhere else in town.
Yeah.
Something has to be done. It's just be asked, maybe go to the senior building right there and listen to them. they know the name, the color of the car, the license plate number.
I mean, it's terrible.
I mean, they can tell you.
Start going through the intersection with a dog and,
Can't.
you know, no one wants to stop for this.
Well, there's no stop
Problem
sign
is
there.
people come down.
Well, I mean, it's a crosswalk
No, I
that the
know. I
town
think
paid
they
a lot of
just-
money for.
I know.
But it's only a stop sign if you're going down Fifth Street. For Chesapeake, it's not a stop sign.
Right. Yeah. Anyone else?
And then we're gonna move along. Yeah, we have an ordinance for voting. This is ordinance 1804. Someone will make a motion?
I move we introduce ordinance 18-04, amending
Then we're
chapter.
voting. It was introduced already.
Okay.
You introduced it last.
Don't we have to reintroduce it?
No, I sent, it's been pointed out to me that there was a motion to relieve the fourth recital last week.
Yeah.
So I have transmitted to the clerk a page one that shows that deletion to strike for the ordinance. So otherwise actually moved to introduce it. So it will be, so the motion should be to adopt as amended.
Adopt as amended ordinance 18-04.
Have a second?
We need to tell the public.
I'll say second, but yeah, can we
Yeah.
refresh everybody what,
This is-
and what the amendment was?
The amendment is to take out a salary, never received a salary before. But this is for compensation and for the town council
And yeah.
and the mayor. The mayor has had compensation before, the town council has never had compensation. Except for, yes, a small salary received in 1980, what?
It was applied in 1980.
Okay.
We're just striking that part of that.
Yeah.
Never
Yes.
received.
Yeah, so never was taken. Can I have a second?
I second.
Oh, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
This doesn't go in effect for this council, this is for the next council.
Correct.
It was part of the budgeting, when the budgeting was allocated, and it goes into effect for the next term. We by charter cannot set anything for us for current city. So.
By the Constitution.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we have ordinance 1805, amending the town beach, North Beach Town Code, chapter 86, peace and order to enact section 86-5.1, smoking on property, and the amended section 86-6, penalties to provide an additional sanction for a violation of section 86-5.1 for introduction.
I'll introduce ordinance 18-05, the property of the beach. Smoking on the beach.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Aye.
Yeah.
Then you just, we just.
Just an
Okay.
introduction.
Yeah, all right,
So,
sorry.
we don't need a second or anything.
Okay, and then we have resolution 18-06 for the purpose of requesting, excuse me. Yes.
I just want to clarify on the ordinance, the property also includes the parks.
Parks.
Yes,
Forgive me.
that's all right.
And I knew that.
Resolution 18-06 is for the purpose of requesting the inclusion of utility and boardwalk improvements with the Maryland Department of Transportation for Maryland Route 261 Bay Avenue, 9th Street, and Arundel County. That's the reconstruction project. Number CA 14851-184. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve resolution 18-06.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any negatives? I said the not here tonight. He is out of town. So, Mickey,
Thank everyone for coming out and staying through. This is probably one of our longer meetings.
Try
The
not
only
to.
thing I really have is next Saturday is Laguna Beach. It's this thing only 3. And I get to see people there.
It's great to see everybody tonight. I just want to add, Veronica did her report on the EDC. One of the things that we're talking about right now, just very early in the works, is holding a listening session with the businesses. We have business representation on the EDC, but it's small, and so we want to sort of broaden our understanding of some of the challenges, and so we're looking at exploring, hosting sort of a listening session with a loop and beyond to the other businesses. So more on that to come. Just a little update on the EDC.
May I ask a quick question, Susan? I know the code enforcer guy's not here, but is there anything going on with the 403 paint house, the blue house that Katie sold? I know it's still got possums coming out of it, and it's collapsing in on itself. It's right by the Beauty on the Bay. Is there anything going on with that? 'Cause it's still in
As far
that.
as I know, he was working on that. Someone owns that.
Yeah, I know someone owns it, and one of my neighbors mows the grass just because it continues to grow so high, but.
It's right on Fifth Street, right?
Yeah, correct. It's a small.
What's the address again?
What's that?
4038.
It's right next to Beauty on the Bay, across from the
Exactly. I mean, it's falling in, there's possums that come out of it at nighttime. It's in bad shape.
But someone owns
It's supposed to
that.
be torn down because it's not livable. It has
Somebody
lead.
owns it, so.
But it's been sold for like 2 years now, and nothing's been done with it.
We'll definitely find out. I'll come with you.
Used to be an antique management.
Yeah, just adjusting any calls, yeah, bring it to town hall, and, well, we can find out as well, I don't want to put that on you, but.
The attorney just said that he's working on reissuing citations for that property.
Yeah, because I'd asked him before, and they're always like, well, we can't ever get in touch with the guy, da-da-da-da-da, we asked Katie, and that's not her responsibility, I understand that. But it is we live there, and it's all houses down, so.
It's not livable.
No, it's just, the files have been, to date, have been transmitted to me, and I'm working with the code enforcement officer right now. The citations need to be reissued due to a technical flaw in the ones that were issued in May, but he is aware of the necessity of moving forward, and if those abatement orders are not sufficient in the district court, we will pursue a nuisance action.
Yeah, so I want to welcome, thank everybody for coming. I'd like to introduce a new resident back here, Mr. Keon, who just moved into a beautiful home on 3rd Street. Glad you can make it to your first town council meeting. But thank you for coming, everybody. It is still hot out there. We still have some time before weather's going to start cooling off. Check with your neighbors. Just help out. We're a small town. Everybody can use a hand. Also, with this grant here, yes, it's small. Yes, there's a lot of people competing for it. But you know what? It could help somebody immensely if they had to get a new HVAC, whatever it may be. So make sure you grab this when you go downstairs. And if you know a neighbor, give it to the neighbor. They need help with it, let us know.
Have a good night. Thank you for coming.
Okay, I'm an original council member. Probably last month, there was an issue with some of the information I had not transmitted to council about the HOA meetings I attended, and mostly because none of you really seemed interested. So, forget it. Okay, this is the San Francisco HOA. I've attended 2 of their meetings the last couple months. Answered an email complaint about dog waste in the common areas, telling the complainant that we could go up and issue citations, except it would be against the HOA, not pet owners, because there would be a pet owner list. There was a complaint from a resident in San Francisco that the sidewalks throughout town are too narrow and that people walk in the street. I responded to another Facebook complaint from a San Francisco resident about people going out and park on 2nd Street. They didn't think that was appropriate. Let me see, we discussed the sewer cleanouts at the Avenue issue, we discussed the speed bump installation. They asked us to get involved in an architectural issue they have up there that is a violation of their CCRs. I declined to pass that on to Rick. I did attend a meeting with their board, Rick Crump, and members of the planning, Calvert Planning and Zoning. It was about a 3-hour meeting on the 27th of July, and it addressed what you asked about last meeting, and that was in retaining that. Without going through my copious notes that I took, basically what they were told was, get out your checkbook. Okay, it's about $200,000 for them to fix it right now, and the meter's running on that. So, you know, we, as I indicated last month, we had done, it was past us and down at the county level. And quite frankly, part of it, there were a couple of balls dropped. We had not dropped any of them though. And some of them were dropped at the county level, some of them, most of them were dropped at the HOA. Quite frankly, it's the checkbook thing. The MNI attended a meeting with the Oaks HOA, and they had 2 issues that we really had to get involved with. Donnie was taking care of both those. One was a sidewalk issue, and the sidewalk we installed there a few years ago on the east side of Furman, and then a drainage pipe running under our portion of Furman Avenue. They also have some things down at the county for a 12-year-old problem with the sedimentation pond. That again, you know, it's a checkbook issue, and that no one seems to know where it is when it comes to write the checks to hire consultants and get the work done.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming. The environmental committee met last week, and they're working on getting together questions to interview the park rangers. So that was our task, to set that up and then bring a person to a couple people to. So, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So